This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines you might have missed this morning, and we take a look at the political pieces we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 24th of September 2020, and I am DM.
I'm Tom.
And I am JM. In case you missed the headlines this morning, here they are. In the Daily Nation, Jubilee clips Ruto wings in Kwale by-election. In the Standard, did Maraga hand Uhuru BBI sword? And in the Star, Kenyatta blocks Ruto and Raila poll showdown. So let's begin with the Standard.
Yes, the Standard is telling us that Maraga has given Raila the BBI on a silver platter. And they're saying this because Raila's opinion on the matter of Maraga advising, or the Chief Justice advising the President, the Chief Justice rather, advising the President to dissolve Parliament, is that we should seek the popular will of the people. And how do you seek the popular will of the people? Through a referendum, which is what the BBI process has been wanting all along. The Standard is also telling us that Raila and Uhuru's members of Parliament on Tuesday set the stage for BBI when they claimed that the decision by Maraga was enough justification that our constitution is faulty. And I suppose we couldn't agree with them more, because the Constitution is actually full of convolutions and conflict and contradiction. The Constitution is convoluted because it's not only vague, it's also excessive. Our Constitution is an overkill, as Jamie was telling us yesterday. It's a case where there's so much law that you need more law to interpret it, you need more law to execute and to implement it. So for instance, and we have asked this question before, does the dissolution of Parliament mean a general election where the parliamentary and presidential elections cannot be delinked? Is the Chief Justice advice, for instance, is it absolute, or should it be taken before the public for a resolution? So the Constitution is also full of contradiction. One article states something expressly, and then another article expressly negates it. So the Constitution is also full of conflict because people can and will interpret the Constitution based on the political, whatever political lens they have.
Absolutely.
Kieleweke, tanga-tanga, tanga-tanga. And for this reason, it's unproductive. So the interpretation or the Constitution is actually bent to the politician's will instead of the other way around.
You know, DM is so right. And Professor Mutai Ngoni always says, constitutions are made in times of crisis. In the absence of a crisis, then they will precipitate a crisis. Now, using this, we would want to ask a question. Could God have handed Uhuru Kenyatta a gift with the Maraga advisory? And the answer is yes. And this gift is a referendum. In other words, because Maraga used delegated authority to ask the president to dissolve Parliament, Uhuru could flip it on him and say, let's ask the people if they want to dissolve Parliament. And if Baba says, let the people decide, who can stop Baba and Uhuru? The referendum that Baba and Uhuru have been planning will happen. After all, Paulo Coelho teaches us that when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And the fellowship of Maraga, Nelly Harvey, Open Society and Co. have made it possible.
Who is Nelly Harvey?
He knows himself. But another thought. After we fix this gender matter, Maraga and Co. must be fixed. Not again should we get a drama queen for a Chief Justice. Never again should we ask for a CJ that demands for Maybach Benz. Never again should we get a Philistine at the helm of our judiciary. Never again should we get a mind that thinks it is equal to the head of state. Uhuru must revisit the judiciary totally and show them no mercy, for they are showing him none.
That's right. I think the other object of aggression here is the Constitution, as we have rightly put it, DM. The Constitution, this thing Professor calls it Katiba Mbichi, that is leading to political constipation. It is precipitating a crisis, as you've said to him. But then the silver lining here is that we have a brilliant opportunity to rectify it to some extent, so that we get out of this political constitutional quagmire. So that's the Standard, and I just want us today to talk about the events of yesterday. And so we can take the Daily Nation and the Star together. The DP yesterday at the Jubilee House was grudgingly speaking at the microphone, and he accepted the party's decision not to field a candidate in Raila's stronghold, Msambweni, in the coast. He suffered a humiliating defeat in the fight for the soul of the Jubilee Party. We are told yesterday he appeared as an outsider, as somebody who is deputy leader, somebody who's not really in charge of the ruling party. We are told that the top leadership, that is presumably the president and the secretary general, said that they wouldn't field a candidate because of their cooperation with ODM, and also Jubilee has performed dismally there in the past, so they didn't see any need.
Absolutely.
I just want to give a commentary here from the Jubilee vice chairman, David Murade, who said, "Let him not say he had other views.
Yes.
That was the decision made, and the president, who is our party leader, is fully briefed on that decision, that we won't field a candidate." And so he says, "Let the DP field a candidate in Jubilee Asili or Mwangi Kiunjuri's party." Because it is rumored and suspected that is a person he will soon be backing, if not backing already. That's his point, man. So let them take that party that looks like the Blue Band party. Let them go to Msambweni and hold an election.
No, JM, when you look at this, from a bigger context, here is the DP who was bringing a candidate who had just defected from ODM to Jubilee, and you can be sure the president was not aware about it. And he goes to the Jubilee House. Well, the president is in the coast meeting the leaders from where this candidate will be running. I mean, the president would not have wanted a surprise. So I don't think the deputy president had actually consulted the president in this. I mean, it was humiliating seeing Tuju telling him, "No, you cannot do this. This is the party position." And
then the DP towing the line.
Towing the line. I mean, he is a deputy party leader. For goodness sake, that must have been humiliating.
It was. So I think we can toss the Daily Nation, toss the Star, and perhaps give the Standard, the winning headline, as we conclude on the analysis of this week's events. I'll toss that. And onto the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. We've got a 3-part criteria that we use to assess the cartoons. Are they humorous or dry? Are they satirical or pessimistic? And finally, are they thoughtful or just plain lazy? Let's begin with the Star.
You have, his name is Ozone, and there is a caricature of Deputy President William Ruto. And he is trying to remove a pimple from, I think, his cheek or his nose. I think that's his cheek. And the pimple is in the shape of Governor of Migori, Okoth Obado. And I think this is with regard to the impeachment proceedings against Obado. He's removing a very hard man to remove in Migori. I think great cartoon.
Because there was a scuffle actually in Obado's constituency. And actually one MCA was injured quite badly. You know, the problem with pimples is that you remove them and then they grow somewhere else.
That's right.
And this is a war between Raila and Ruto, not Obado and Raila. So in proxy wars, those who usually suffer are the little people. And in this instance, Obado might be the little person.
I'm not particularly inspired by it.
No, neither am I.
I think we could toss that one.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to the Daily Nation. And here we have a caricature of Chief Justice Maraga scoring a goal using a bomb as a ball. And the bomb is, it's got a title there written Dissolution. And it represents a dissolution of Parliament. And on the pitch is the President in the same kit, same uniform, possibly trying to block Maraga from scoring that goal. And then there's a red shoe. There's a lady who has kicked this bomb in the direction of Maraga.
I think the red shoe. So the lady passed the ball to Maraga, who then scored. And I think the lady's shoe represents the matter in contention, which is the gender bill. And when it comes to the 2/3 gender rule, I don't think the goal is the problem. The game is the problem. It's the process that's the problem. The dismal representation of women in parliament, I believe, or in governance or in government, is not natural. It's structural, it's cultural, and it's systemic. Women have the capacity to govern and to make decisions and to influence the prosperity of a country, but they are locked out deliberately. So, and I'm making this as a case of me saying that I support the 2/3 gender rule.
That's right.
So we can't expect it to be reversed naturally. It can only be reversed through affirmative action. But dissolving parliament, I don't think gets us closer to this goal. If anything, it just takes us further away from it.
Absolutely, it'll take us further. The only way to really fast track this idea of 2/3 gender rule is to go into a full proportional representation system where we have a closed party list system. Because that becomes very easy to enforce, like South Africa. You know, so internally within the Jubilee party,
then you make those allocations.
You when you're putting together the list, the top, the top people who are going to be on the list, a third of them have to be women. But if you take it back to the ground, if anything, dissolving parliament, as you're saying, it's going to take us further. There's some ethnic groups in this country that cannot even fathom a woman leading them. You know, places in Western Kenya.
So we're going to have dissolution of parliaments ad infinitum.
Yes, absolutely.
Till kingdom come.
But guys, also let us also take note of this. This thing has got nothing to do with the 2/3 gender rule. The aim of Maraga sending the advisory to the president was to remove Uhuru Kenyatta from power. Period. If we stay on this argument of 2/3 gender rule, we are playing to the organizers of the civilian coup. They want us to argue that, but what they actually want is to have the president out of power and have his replacement in power. That's the short game of this. Maraga is not interested about 2/3 gender rule. And ask him, why the heck did he do this thing at this time? There was absolutely no emergency for him to do it. The thing is, he is being malicious.
The emergency is that he's leaving in 3 months.
Yes.
So it's something that is personal
to
him.
It is self-serving.
So it is self-serving. It's not something that is in the national interest.
I think everybody, it's a mark of progression to have women in positions of power. And that I support. But this thing of him telling us that dissolve parliament for us not passing, it was absolutely unnecessary. And for that guy is malicious, and they know exactly what they're doing. Him, Harvey, and that Soros thing that funds them.
Wow.
Now let's take a look at the standard. What do we have here, DM?
In the standard we have the president's car, I suppose, because the plate says the president, and it's on a highway, and the car is at a crossroads.
And it's not just a car; it's a Mercedes.
It's a Mercedes.
Mercedes.
It's at a crossroads. It's the car that the Chief Justice wants, and the president has to decide which lane to go on. You can see that his driver is asking, "Excuse me, Your Excellency, sir, which lane?" The options are lane 1 to the High Court, lane 2 to buy time, lane 3 subject to public participation, and lane 4 to dissolve parliament. So it's the 4 different options that Uhuru has to pick regarding Maraga's advice to dissolve the parliament. And I think I'll invite our viewers to look at yesterday or the day before after the episode where 2J actually broke down these options that the president has.
Absolutely. I think we should give the Daily Nation our winning cartoon.
It is quite humorous.
It's humorous. Yes. So on a day where we had a winning headline from the Standard and a winning cartoon from the Daily Nation, I want to leave you with this quote from Napoleon Bonaparte. He says, "To extraordinary circumstances, we must apply extraordinary remedies." Have a good evening and see you tomorrow.